Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the sixth installment of the First Ninja Sports Podcast. I'm Michael O'Brien here with my fantastic co-host, Mr.
Aiden Florsher. What a
We're back.
beautiful slate we had this weekend.
I know, dude. I was so happy
I couldn't
football
have
was
asked for
back.
anything
What
more
a
on
beautiful
week
sight. It was a beautiful week one. We had a bunch of great games on the slate. I mean, Giants won. How insane. How insane.
Anything could
There's a
happen
bunch of
after
upset-
that,
a
and
bunch
we
of
would be
upsets
clicking
all
our
around.
heels.
That's week one, though, always. Week one is always upsets everywhere. It never fails.
Well, according to Vegas, yeah, because teams are not judged correctly, I feel like.
And also, they don't play anyone in the preseason anymore, so, like, a lot of the starters is just, like, their first actual game action. So a lot of
Like the
shit's just
Bengals.
weird.
Whole
Yeah, you don't
team
really
didn't
know-
play in the preseason.
Exactly. We're not going to know, like, the true landscape of the NFL until, like, week 4 or 5, realistically.
Yeah,
But that's beyond the point.
Yeah, that's beyond the point. I think
Beyond the point.
there's going to be a lot of people trying to overreact to what happened this week one.
Obviously,
but-
I'm sure you'll hear some overreactions come out of our mouths within the next 45 minutes or so,
Yeah, but
for sure.
to future self watching this,
Mm-hmm.
don't overreact for next week. Take it fresh slate. No
Fresh slate.
one beat anybody. Let's
Let's get into the week one. Let's get into week
Yeah,
one.
how do we
Let's
do,
see
Mike?
what happened.
How'd we
I
do?
went 10-6 on my picks, and you went
Wow.
9-7.
I
So
mean,
we're both above 500. I did
We're
better
both
than you. I'm
sharper
up
than
right
him.
now. I'm up
yeah,
right
that's
now.
fine.
Oh, look at my boy in the back. I forgot. Let's go. GOAT.
Wow, led
Best
us to
back in
one
the
of
league.
our bold
Best back in the
spread
league.
picks.
That was the best game I've ever seen him play, but we'll get to that when we get to that game. Let's start
Yes.
running through these games. The first game of the week was we had the Bills versus the Rams in Los Angeles, and the Bills just absolutely mollywopped them.
Yeah, it was not even a fun game to watch because
Yeah,
it
it
was
was
like
boring.
the Rams weren't fighting back at all.
No, it was a bad game. I mean, a lot of times I feel like that happens with the teams that like come off the Super Bowl first game. There's always a hangover. We saw it with the Bengals this weekend too. Like, not even the winner of the Super Bowl, but they lost. And the Stafford elbow thing seems to be like a real concern, right? There were throws in that game where I was like, that is not Matt Stafford healthy is hitting that throw 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I didn't even know going into the game his elbow was a factor. To be honest with you, when
He
did
was
that
at-
even
yeah.
occur?
It was all over the offseason. No, it was shoulder, I believe. I'm wrong. I don't think it was his elbow. I think it was the shoulder, but still, just throwing
Yeah,
shoulder.
Nonetheless, yeah, his
It's
arm,
been like kind of a
his
storyline throughout
arm
the
looked
offseason.
very,
That's why he was wearing
very-
that sleeve. They were like talking about the sleeve and like how I think like Kershaw told him about it or something. It's like a pitcher sleeve. It's like a baseball arm sleeve he was wearing.
Well, it
but,
didn't work
I
because
mean-
he looked like absolute garbage.
Yeah. Also, the Bills are just legit as fuck, right?
Yeah,
They're gonna
deepest
be,
team
they're
in the
gonna
league.
stomp teams. Yeah.
No doubt, they have depth everywhere.
Weapons.
and
They have weapons on weapons. Their defense is loaded. Like their
there's
front
no
seven is
stopping
super
them
good.
this year.
No, they stay
have them-
remotely healthy. They're gonna be insane.
Yeah, we have them AFC champions, right? Or at least
I
they
said the
get there.
Ravens. Yeah,
said
I
the
think.
Ravens.
I mean, I think the Bills will be at least in the AFC title game.
So
I
you're
think that's
thinking
safe to
Bills
say.
Ravens? That's actually going to be a crazy game. Thinking about it now,
I think that could
if
be a
so,
sick AFC title game.
Very probable. Too.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, I feel like that's really it for the game. We'll see how Stafford plays the next couple of weeks. See if that actually becomes a thing. And I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
I think
don't
we all know the
overreact.
Bills were.
Rams are still
No.
good.
Yeah, they'll still be. I think they'll still be good. Their division is tough, though. We'll see. We still got 16 games left. There's a lot of football, but that
Moving
was
on.
definitely kind of concerning. Yeah,
For the next game, Eagles
First game
beating
from
the
Sunday.
Lions
38-35.
38-35. We both were
Yeah.
on the Lions 3.5.
Yeah.
The 0.5 saves
To
us.
the last game,
Also.
Aiden said the Bills, I said the Rams, so that's a loss for me, win for Aiden. But we were both on the Lions here at plus 3.5 at the time when we recorded. So
My takeaways from this game were Swift looked good. The Lions looked like the same team from last year. And I think Campbell has to relax a little bit. Because
you think
looking
Campbell
back,
has to tone it down a bit?
I was watching some of like the game replay today. They went for an onside kick in the third quarter, Mike.
Nah, I love that. What are you saying? That's Dan Campbell.
It's week 1.
Exactly.
That is the most
We're
like
winning.
That's the most Dan Campbell thing of all time.
Dable went for 2 at the end of the game. That's pretty insane in week 1 also.
But that's more probable, I think. I think that's
yeah,
more
100%,
of,
obviously. It's definitely apples to oranges, but it's just being aggressive. I'll never knock aggressive coaching unless you're Brandon Staley and you don't kick the field goal or whatever in that fucking Raiders-Chargers game last year.
Yeah, they were going for the tie almost.
Yeah, they're idiots. But beyond the point, I mean, the Eagles almost kind of choked this game, right? The 38-21 at one point, Philly. The Lions come back with the backdoor, have 38-35. I mean, Hurts looked pretty good, but I think it's really more about the Eagles' rushing game is what's going to make them good. Plus, A.J. Brown just had a monster game.
Yeah,
They'll be good in the
Hurts
NFC East this year.
Hurts is never going to have like 30 completions. It's just not going to happen. He's going to have his 90 rushing yards, 15 completions for like maybe
He's Lamar
200
Jackson
yards.
light.
Yeah. Budget Lamar Jackson, which
he's Sam's
kudos
Club
to him.
Lamar Jackson.
I
Yeah,
hope
but
he has a great career, but I hope the Eagles don't do very well. If you can get what I'm saying.
I hope they suck. I hope they go 6-10.
Oh, I hope they go like 4 and whatever.
That'd be I hope they lose the next 16 games, really. But I mean, they'll definitely be good. Swift is going to make a case for like a top 5 back in the league this year, right? If he stays healthy.
Yeah, he's going to get the work. He's going to get the workload, and he's going to get the yardage to be in that.
Well, they get Jamal Williams a lot of touches too, especially down the goal line. But
That's
I mean,
okay.
he's gonna get the touches to put up numbers. So I mean, you
kind of want that second guy to take some of the load off because you don't want him getting 35 carries a game. Yeah,
gash him
and break his leg.
That wouldn't be good. But also, I think the main point we take from this game is the Lions are the absolute comeback kids.
They're the same team from last year. I literally watched 20.
Yeah, they'll probably go 5-12, but lose every game by like 6 points.
Maybe closer, dude.
Yeah, probably closer.
Like 3, like this. It's gonna happen every single week. Like, oh, the Lions played so well.
It's the exact same thing they did all last year. So I mean, we'll see if that can
tone it down, Dan. Stop being such a meathead.
No, we love you, Dan Campbell. Please come on the podcast. That'd be the greatest day of my life.
For real. I'd interview you shirtless, eating raw meat like the Liver King.
Yeah. I'd come on with light blue face paint and a lion mane painted on, like the whiskers, like arr.
He would be like, ooh, you get me fired up, Mike.
Let's go.
Come play tackle.
Let's go into the next game before this turns into a Dan Campbell fan fiction. All right.
Yeah. We have Saints at Falcons. Saints beat them in a nail biter, 27-26. I was unfortunately on the Saints here, and you luckily were on the Falcons plus 5.5. I mean, in this game,
home dog, baby.
It makes sense. It's a rival that has been around for a bunch of years, and why give 6.5 points or 5.5 points? Doesn't make sense to me. You take the names out, they're almost the same team. No.
I mean, the Saints are clearly better. They came back down. They scored 17 unanswered to win. I mean, the better team clearly won, but
yeah. But I think it's a loss more for the Saints and a win for the Falcons here.
My take away from this game is that the Falcons are going to be like the most fun bad team this year, other than the Lions. Mariota, Patterson, Pitts, London is going to be kind of a fun offense to watch, especially when they're down all the time.
Sneaky.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're going to be down all the time too, so they're just going to be doing like crazy shit. It'll be fun to watch. But I mean, the Saints I think will be contenders this year. Michael Thomas looked fantastic in his first game back in like a year and a half. Caught 2 touchdowns on like kind of a limited snap count compared to what he usually does. Jameis Winston also looked good coming off the ACL. I mean, I think the Saints will be pretty legit this year.
It's all up to Jameis. If he could stop the turnovers, they could be an elite team. And
they didn't have a turnover in this game.
I know, but what
Kamara looked rough a little bit.
If Jameis in his career has always tried to do like hero ball kind of thing, like he'll never just throw the check down. He's always going.
Yeah, he's definitely limited that since he's been on the Saints, though. That's the thing.
He
was in the Bruce Arians offense where they chuck
it. Yeah, but I think if he continues this path, he'll be a very good quarterback for the Saints team.
I fully agree with you. My last point from this game I kind of wanted to make, Drake London looked fantastic, honestly. I think he's going to be the best rookie wide receiver probably by a decent amount. Him and Olave. Olave looked really good also. I think this game we got to see the top 2 rookie wide receivers this year. They both look pretty
Agree
damn
both
good.
ways.
Their first NFL game. Yeah.
London is clearly
Olave called that big
number
2-point conversion. That was pretty huge play. Yeah. London could be a monster. He's super huge. He seems to just be open all the time. So
he's a freak.
I think, he's very good. Let's hit the next game. Another kind of a snoozer. The last game wasn't a snoozer. This one was kind of a snoozer. Ravens at JetLife Stadium come into JetLife and embarrass the Jets 24-9. I think the Jets scored with 4 minutes left.
It was a garbage
not even
time
competitive.
touchdown.
Yeah. So blowout here by the Ravens. I was on the Jets plus 6.5. I was buying into the Flacco revenge game narrative.
That's ridiculous.
I did say if it was Wilson, I'm on the Ravens. If it was Flacco, I'm on the Jets. So I'm going to be a man of my word. I was on the Jets. You took the Ravens like the smart person would.
I saw that the public won very heavily on the Ravens and the Chiefs.
This was definitely
on
the one. Yeah, this was one of the games where the public ate heavily. I saw 80-something% of the bets were on the Ravens both ways. Made sense though. The Jets.
Lamar, the points from this game, I think, were Lamar is amazing, and
the Jets will probably never
it.
be this short of a line again. Also, anytime it's a halfway decent team. Yeah.
They're horrible.
Yeah, they're not good.
I think next week they're plus 6.5 against the Browns.
Yeah, I saw that they're 6-point underdogs.
That's a
against a team that's
disgusting
not that good.
game.
Yeah, against Jacoby Brissett. Gross, man. You're not great. That's not a great spot to be.
That's
in.
probably Jacoby's steepest favor, right?
Nah, when he played on the Colts, he probably had a couple games like that.
Yeah, you're right.
100%.
If we
dug into that now,
too much longer.
No, Lamar looked pretty good. The Jets are going to suck. I'm curious to see how the Jets' backfield plays out, though, with Hall and Michael Carter. Because Carter was used more, but they gave, Hall got a decent amount of work. I think he had 10 targets. So, that's an interesting thing. If he's, their passing down back kind of at the start of the year, he could still have fantasy value, even if he's not getting, the majority of the touches.
League, you might as well not drop him now because Carter's not.
If you're dropping Breece Hall in a Dynasty League, I want to join your Dynasty League. Please text me or DM us on Twitter. Don't text me. I'm not giving out my phone number. Yeah, I'll join whatever the buy-in fee is also if you're dropping Breece Hall. Let's go on to the next game. Steelers-Bengals. You were on the right side of this game, too. You said Steelers plus 6.5 road dogs. I was an idiot on the Bengals, yet again.
I saw this from a mile away, my friend.
I kind of did, too, but I thought the Bengals would come out hot. I'm not going to lie.
Anytime you get the Steelers with points, you take them. It's a simple
not
equation.
A bad take.
Steelers with points, I would honestly say 67% of the time they cover. I don't know if that's a solid stat, but
nothing backing it, but I'm going to buy it. That's probably a believable stat. If the Steelers are underdogs in the Tomlin era, they're probably at least, I would assume, a 60% cover rate, right?
Yeah,
that would make sense to me.
There's no better coached team. They've had 3 coaches in 50 years.
Tomlin is the best coach in the NFL at this point. Belichick seems like his age is starting to show a little bit. I think Tomlin's that guy now.
Oh,
as
100%.
Best coach in the league in terms of longevity also.
Yeah.
Legacy-wise,
he's shown
I'm saying.
everything. He always has a good defense.
Who's still a dog coach. Yeah, he's a sick coach. He's been the Steelers have only had 5 or 6 head coaches in their history, which is insane when you think about it. Most teams go through 5 head coaches in 10
We've had 5 head coaches since we've graduated from high school, pretty much.
Yeah, we had Coughlin, Ben McAdoo, Shermer, Judge, now Dable.
Yeah.
Well, Dayball is going to lead us to the promised land, but we'll get to that later.
They're also
pretty
just
sloppy
a great
game all around. Yeah. The Steelers just churn out wide receivers. Every year they just take a dude in the second or third, and it's oh, this dude's an NFL star-level wide receiver. This is pretty cool.
And they make good quarterbacks, man.
Well, it's just everything they do. They're just a well-coached, well-run team and have been since.
What about on the other side of the field, Bengals? How do you think about them?
Burrow's super sloppy, 4 picks and a fumble. T. Higgins out with a concussion. That's rough. I mean, a super sloppy game for the Bengals all around. Like, Burrow got sacked a bunch. T.J. Watt had a couple sacks. He had that pick on Burrow. There's constant pressure all day. And they revamped the whole O-line, and Burrow was still on his ass the entire game. Like, that's not a good look.
Yeah,
It's not a good look.
He was getting sacked more than he was last year. He's going to get hurt
It was like
again.
the same thing. It was the same thing. I hope not, because that would suck, because he's so good.
They're going to pull like an Andrew Luck on him and like force him out of the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is there, but if they're all, I mean, the Steelers front is also a nightmare, and this is like week 1 rah-rah game. I'm sure they're pulling cats out of the bag, the Steelers D coordinator. You know what I mean? Like, they're going hard in this. Plus the blocked extra point to force overtime. I mean, how do you let that happen? You kick an extra point and you win with no time left. Instead, you let Minka come through on blocks. What are you doing?
I'm
That's
not,
just
like,
fundamentals.
overreacting on this. Bengals are still better than the
Nah,
Steelers,
I kind of
no
am.
doubt.
I kind of am.
I'm not.
I'm overreacting on the Bengals here. Even if this could be
Really?
a total overreaction, 100%. They looked like shit. Just fun, dude. Their offensive line looked bad, even though it is the Steelers' front. Bad special teams play. They missed field goals. They had a blocked extra point that lost in the game.
But realistically,
And, like-
McPherson is one of the best kickers in the league. You're allowed to
Yeah,
have
but
one bad
also
game.
if T. Higgins misses time and their offensive line is going to be an issue. Teams are going to blitz the fuck out of them.
I just don't think they're going to be horrible. They're going to be better than the Steelers. There's no doubt at the end of the year.
I could see it going either way. I'm not as high. Like, watching that game kind of gave me worry about the Bengals.
I'm high on the Steelers.
I'm not gonna
and I
lie.
just don't think, man, like over like the long
We'll
haul, I
see.
think their offense can carry them pretty far.
Yeah, I mean the Bengals did start slow last year and got hot. We'll see. Burrow's a dog. He
The
could
Watt
just
injury is going to hurt the Steelers. So
100%. Yeah, let's move on. That was a very interesting game.
it was a
That
fun
was
game.
a
A lot to
crazy
talk
game.
about
That
there,
was a crazy
for sure.
game. Yeah. Next game, a game we were both on the right side here. We both were on the Dolphins beating the Patriots. It was 20-7 in Miami. It was Dolphins -3, and I mean, Mike McDaniel,
Has
dude looks like he
balls.
sells dime bags. Dude looks like he sells dime bags, but he's an offensive genius. He's gonna make Tua look like a good NFL quarterback.
He has balls for going for that on 4th down. That was crazy.
Yeah, on that Waddle touchdown. Yeah, that was ballsy.
And then he
And
had
it
like,
worked.
oh my god! If you lose on that, then you're like, holy shit! Like that was a ballsy play. I respect it again. That's
That's
like
what you gotta do. Hey, when you make ballsy calls, it can pay off like that, man. Look, that's
and
what
how
you
many
gotta do.
times do
Playing to
rookie
win.
coaches get to
Playing
beat
to win.
Belichick? You know.
It doesn't happen often, especially in his first game in the NFL. I doubt. I'm sure that's happened maybe once or twice, but probably
That's
a pretty rare occurrence. Yeah.
Because
I mean,
usually
I think the Patriots
Belichick
are dead.
owns rookies. Yeah, Patriots are not.
Another
the same.
overreaction. I'm declaring the Patriots dead.
They'll probably win next week knowing Belichick, but like you know what I'm saying.
100%. I'm gonna pick them next week too. I looked at the games a little bit already. Beyond that, beyond that, I don't
That's
think the
for
Patriots
next
are gonna do
podcast.
anything this year. Yeah, well, I'll backtrack on this when I pick the Patriots in a couple days. But I think the Patriots are dead.
Yeah, they look horrible. They have nobody.
In terms of what the Patriots are thought of as. They're
Oh,
not the
they're good.
Patriots.
They'll
not
be
the
lucky to
Patriots.
squeeze into the playoffs.
Exactly. I mean, and also I think the Dolphins are really going to be a team that ascends this year. Waddle and Hill is just like the craziest. I think the craziest 1-2 in the league.
And Gesicki there. It's a great tight end.
He didn't even get used last game though. They
He
threw to him
will.
twice.
He will.
He's a piece. Yeah, I could see them I could see them trading him because he's in a weird situation with his contract too.
I didn't know that, but I
So,
think he's a decent tight end.
Yeah, I think they tagged him, if I'm not mistaken. And also, Mac Jones is going to be in trouble with Joe Judge and Patricia there, like we said, with the Patriots being dead. 7 points against the Dolphins. The Dolphins always give the Patriots trouble, I feel like. I'm sure this will look horrible in 4 weeks, but I think that's going to be an issue all
Yeah,
year.
we're
man.
just declaring them dead at this point.
I think their offense is gonna be
Belichick's
a
gonna
problem.
like shit on us.
Like, their defense didn't play bad. It was a couple busted plays, and then, but their offense is anemic.
No, yeah, their
Yeah,
offense is horrible.
Yeah,
They
it wasn't
they
good.
struggled to get every first down.
Yeah, it was a tough look for them this week, but I'm sure they'll bounce back. It's Belichick.
Let's move on to one of the boringer games of the week.
On paper, this game was kind of wild.
I don't know. I didn't.
It was
I
just a
don't
classic-
I didn't enjoy this game at all watching it, but
It was just
it
a
was
classic.
commies at the Jaguars.
Carson Wentz game.
They beat them 28-22. OB won here on the commies at -3.5. I took the Jags. It could have went both ways. Carson Wentz was
this game could have
went
went either way. You play this game next week, the Jaguars probably win. So this is a game that could have went either way. Carson Wentz threw that pick at the end. He was trying to sell. He was really he wanted to sell that game. Yeah, classic Carson Wentz. And that's going to be the Commanders' thing all year, though. They'll be in games because they have a good receiver room. Their offense is kind of fun. But, Carson Wentz is just going to do stupid shit and, lose them games at some point. There's no two ways around it.
I mean, that's what you get when you have Carson Wentz. It's late game action. He's not very good under pressure. He's going to throw the ball away. He doesn't know how to secure the ball when he needs to.
Yeah,
but on the other side,
play turnover-free football, they'll be good. But do you think Carson Wentz can play turnover-free football?
Absolutely not.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I don't.
I think
so
Lawrence looked good. I think ETN looked good. I think Robinson looked better.
I don't know. The Jaguars is so meh to me, man.
Yeah,
I want to see T-Law take a step, but it's not like their weapons are that good. Christian Kirk's
didn't do
good
anything
receiver.
special. He just
Christian
played
Kirk had
right.
100 yards, I think.
Yeah, Kirk.
But he's their best receiver. He's their best target by a mile. It's him,
yeah.
Zay Jones, and Marvin Jones, 32.
And they're both they're all 80 overalls on Madden.
Yeah, I said this before. Someone, the Jaguars' offense is you sign it all in free agents in year 4 of your Madden franchise. And you're wow, I need a couple receivers. Let me get Zay Jones and Christian Kirk on some 4-year deals. Yeah, I mean, I think they're just
they gave him a lot of money.
Dude, they gave Zay Jones a lot of money. They gave Ingram a decent amount of money. They signed Brandon Scherf. They gave him a lot of money. They gave out a lot of money this offseason.
And they
will
still
probably
stink.
bite them in the end. Yeah, exactly. It's like the Giants buying last year. They're going to fire their GM next year. It's all just trying to buy players that maybe have a good year and buy himself another couple years. It's not going to work.
Yeah, they're just scraping ends meat there. So they got to move on.
Yeah. They're a team that I think will just be a mess again. So we'll see how that unfolds. This was an interesting one. Kind of a slower game, but also kind of out of the control of the actual players. Bears beating the San Francisco 49ers 19-10. We were both on the Niners here, actually, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's an L. That sucks.
There's not much to say here other than a weather game. There's nothing there I take as truth.
I think
Trey Lance is going to be good.
Game.
Yeah.
I agree. I'm buying nothing from this game. None of the narratives from this game I am buying. If Trey Lance
say we lost.
Niners, if Trey Lance comes out against Seattle next week and stinks, then I'll be okay. He might not be good. But I'm not. The only thing I take away from this game is that Mitchell getting hurt sucks for the 49ers.
And my fantasy team.
Same. One of my fantasy teams. But I'm not going to buy into this too much. It knocked me out of my survivor pool. I wish I saw it was a monsoon. I wish I knew it was going to be a monsoon in Chicago. I saw it the morning of. I was like, fuck, this is not going to go good. I should have just, whatever. I should have changed it, but I rolled. And I lost. But like we're saying, I'm not buying anything from this game. Let's move on.
Nothing from this game is really viable to talk about because it was all just bullshit.
Exactly. We can make judgments on these teams within the next week or two.
We'll do Browns at Panthers.
Yeah, you took the auto L on this game. You said, I'm not taking a side. You should have just faded me because I was on the Panthers, and they lost 26-24 at home.
Well, my reasoning was, if I'm not taking either side with confidence, why take a side?
Yeah, just cop out. And say, I'm going to
cop out, take the L.
You could have faded me. You could have faded me, and we'd both be 10-6. That'd be sick.
You know what? I'll take be 9-6 with an auto L. That's cool.
No, you said auto L. If you said auto L, it counts in the L.
It's a handicap.
No, we get one auto. Fine. So next week I'm taking an auto L as a handicap.
Yeah. Every other week we switch off.
What do we take away from this game?
Joking.
Anything? Do we take away anything from this game?
Baker Mayfield is horrible.
Baker Mayfield sucks. He's Johnny Manziel without an addiction to OxyContin. That's the best way I can describe Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, he's sickening to watch. I hate him. He's the enemy of the state. I'm sick of him in the
I know.
NFL.
He's one of my least favorite quarterbacks, maybe to ever step foot on the field.
He's just
He's
cocky
so
for
cocky.
no reason.
Yeah, I know. He's cocky and he never backs it up. It's so funny. And he like selling T-shirts for like it's like coming week 1, Cleveland versus Carolina, and they get smoked by Jacoby Brissett. Like, what are you doing, dude?
He'll probably be
Great.
benched by Sam Darnold by week 5.
That would be the funniest thing of all time. Imagine that would
Calling
be
it
really
now.
sad.
Week 5,
Okay.
Sam Darnold starting.
We'll
Hey,
clip this. We'll mark this
yes.
one.
Clip that.
Clip that, poggers. Let's move on to the next game. This one was also a fun one. Colts in Houston tied 20-20, not lose, but honestly worse than a loss, tying here to the Houston Texans,
Yeah,
20-20 on the road.
Texas win.
We were both on the Colts,
lost.
by the way.
No
Yeah.
doubt. Yeah.
100%. I count this as a win for the Texans, even though they did choke a lead. They were up like
mean,
2 possessions in the fourth quarter and just sold it. But
the real loser from this is Rodrigo Blankenship and Quavo.
yeah, he got cut. That's crazy.
They said, you look so ugly, we can't have you part of our franchise anymore.
It also shows how special teams players are so replaceable. They'll cut a punter.
He
kicker,
looks
no
mental.
problem. I know he does look wild.
How
But
is
I
he
mean-
in a professional athlete in the same sport as like someone like Aaron Donald? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
DK Metcalf. It makes no sense. That's just football, though. Especially with the special teams positions, you'll have a punter like he looks like he never lifted a weight in his life on the same team as fucking.
He looks like he delivers
AJ
Chinese
Brown.
food.
Yeah, exactly. And he's like, oh, my teammates AJ Brown and Jordan Mailata. It's like, okay.
Have fun.
But I mean, the AFC South is a shit show.
Yeah,
Absolute
this-
dumpster fire. That's gonna be like whoever wins that division is gonna have like 8 wins.
Colts
That division's
disappointed
gross.
me.
I think the Colts
Okay.
could be kind of disappointing. I mean, is Matty Ice the answer? Like Carson Wentz wasn't good last year.
He's a
but,
bridge
like,
quarterback, probably.
they've had bridge quarterback since Andrew Luck retired, bro.
It's called the land bridge, my friend.
It's called the Andrew Luck curse. It's called never drafting offensive linemen for the best quarterback prospect since John Elway, and then just having to go from Jacoby Brissett, Phillip Rivers, Carson Wentz, Matty Ice. They're going to trade for someone else next year. Like it's just clockwork.
Poor guy, man.
Yeah. Also, I'm just going to note this: JT is the next LaDainian Tomlinson.
You think
He-
so?
Yes,
Why so?
he's so good. He's so good. He's everything you want in a running back. It's Jonathan Taylor. Speed, size, vision, like the way he just sees a hole right through. Like it's like I haven't seen a running back do that in a while.
And he's
He's a
humongous.
He's not humongous, but he's just built perfectly for a running back.
He's
like stocky.
humongous, bro.
He's
you not
jacked.
see his... Yeah.
No, but he's like not tall. He's stocky. Like you want a running
No,
back. You don't
he's
want a running back usually.
humongous.
Let's look at he's. I bet you he's not over 6 feet tall. Jonathan Taylor's 5'10".
But what's his weight? 255?
No, it's probably like 230. Jonathan Taylor is 5'10", 227. That's perfect. That's exactly what you want in a running back. He's a perfect running back. He's gonna be like generational.
You know
And
who
also-
I also think
one-
could be generational?
Who hit me?
Davis Mills.
I was gonna make that point. You read my mind. The Texans are an interesting team to follow, honestly, because with the capital they have from that Watson trade, if Mills is a dude,
They could build
Look
a
out.
sweet team around him.
they have like the Browns' first and second round picks for the next 2 years. They have some extra third from them, I believe. Plus, they don't have to pay Deshaun Watson $250 million to grope woman. So I mean, like,
Yeah, that's probably
they're
a
in
lot
an
up
interesting
their chest.
spot. Yeah, but
gives
they were
them a
probably
few
like
wins
hiding
already.
it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
they got that situation out of their hair and passed it to the Browns, and here, take it.
They're like, here, take it. Give him guaranteed money.
Yeah, give him $250 million, fully guaranteed.
Because he
they're-
didn't do anything.
I promise. There's no way 60 women are correct. But beyond that, let's move on. Let's move on to the late slate. Chargers at home against the Oakland Raiders. They beat up on them a little bit The Raiders scored a touchdown late. It was like 2 possessions for most of the game. 24-19 Chargers. I was on the Chargers here. You were on the Raiders.
I mean, I'll
What are your
probably be on the
takeaways from this
Raiders every
game
week.
as
My-
a noted Derek Carr lover?
Listen, I'll follow Derek Carr into the depths of the earth, but after I said that, honestly, like, I don't think the Raiders are going to be bad this year. I think this was Carr's worst game he could probably play all year, and they lost by like 5 or 6 points. He played hard.
5.
And
Yeah, he didn't play good at all.
And the Chargers are supposed to be like a Super Bowl contender. I think that this is an okay game.
That's said about the
play
Chargers
first
every
game.
year, man.
That's fine, but this is this year. It's been said.
I know.
I think the Raiders
I agree.
still have a great season. Week 1 doesn't mean much to me, but I'm not really surprised how they played. But
I'm not really huge believers in either of these teams, personally.
yeah,
in
my
the long
belief
run, at least.
I think my belief
Josh
for the
McDaniels is a
Chargers went down
doofus.
more than the Raiders in this game.
That's not a terrible take, because the Chargers probably should have ran away with this game. And they didn't.
multiple times.
Yeah. But those teams would probably be in playoff contention all year. I think McDaniels is a doofus. The Chargers will always be like an interesting team where it's like the expectations are always there and they always fall short a little bit.
That's
it
a
never
fun
fails.
division.
That is a very fun division. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. It's a very fun division.
Obviously, Chiefs are.
It always is, and this year especially with all the talent they got added into it. Devontae, Russell Wilson, Chandler Jones, Chiefs
cool
always
division.
being the Chiefs. Yeah, Khalil Mack. Yeah, it's a very fun division. Now on to the game of the week. Giants go into Music City and upset the Tennessee Titans, 21-10 on a missed field goal from Fat Randy. We're
I
obviously
cried
both
on
on the Giants here.
6 p.m.
I
on a
collapsed.
Sunday.
I collapsed when they missed that field goal. Because I've seen so many Giants games in the last 7 years where that field goal is Broadway. Good
Yeah.
from 70 yards out.
But
And I
Randy
was,
Bullock's
am depressed for
doofus
5
ass
days.
swung it left.
Shanked it. Yeah, made me. I've been smiling ever since.
Yeah, it made
You said you took the
17 units
Giants
and a
money
smile.
line here. You called it.
Yeah.
You said Giants money line.
No doubt.
Let's
It
go.
wasn't even a doubt in my mind, bro. Because if you think about it, it's a total great matchup for the Giants here. We stopped the run great.
It played out very well for the Giants.
So, I mean,
Brian
it
Dable
could
has
have
the
totally
biggest
went the
wang
wrong
ever.
way, but what'd you say?
Brian Dable has the biggest peen in the NFL.
Oh, he takes those bowl pills from the gas station before every game.
Mixes
I
them
heard.
with the honey. He mixes them with
Yeah.
the honey too.
He's like, Sterling, come here. Give me a kiss.
Bro, you know he actually has 6 kids. He probably actually does do that. I
He
swear to
goes
God.
home, rips home the honey, rips open the honey.
Yeah, yeah, 100% he does.
Time to
Yeah,
get
then
frisky,
watches it-
baby.
Watches
I'm
them
about
all
to put these
22.
day balls in your
Daniel
day
Jones.
mouth.
I mean, I haven't been that impressed with the Giants coach in the last 10 years.
Dancing
That
with
was-
the
that was-
team,
yeah, that
giving
was
everyone
amazing.
love. Like this, you could tell he has this locker room in his hands.
On lock.
Everyone likes
on
him.
lock. And everyone respects him, too. You can tell everyone respects him.
'Cause he
can
actually
shoot at
has a
Danny on the
pass.
sideline. Yeah, and he actually has a plan. He's not a fucking idiot like Jason
Yeah,
Garrett. Judge.
that's something to definitely talk about. Chewing out Danny. That I haven't seen Danny been chewed out in a minute
Never.
or ever.
Never. That's good. He probably turns the
Whip
ball
him
over
into
every game.
shape.
You got to chew him out. Yes. Hold him accountable. He led the game-winning drive after that. Hold your players accountable.
Because he
Everyone.
probably
That shows
thought
the
in his
rest of
head
the
he
team.
was like, "Damn, this guy believes in me, man."
Yeah, exactly.
cares?
And exactly. And that shows the rest of the team that everyone's accountable. It doesn't matter who you are, you're being held accountable. That's just great coaching. I was so happy with this game, man. Saquon looked unbelievable. The Giants' defense
creature.
looked super scrappy with no Thibodeau or Ojulari. Giants are going to be a
two-man
fun
pass
watch.
rushers.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
Next week will be very fun.
Especially if we get
counting down
Ojulari
the
and
days.
Thibodeau back. Oh, my God, man. Whenever we get Thibodeau back, I'm going to be so amped. It's going to be so
When is he
much
coming
fun.
back? Week 3?
Who knows? I haven't seen anything on it. Let me give it a quick Google. Kayvon Thibodeau. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything, really. It said 3 to 4 weeks when he got hurt. And they said there was a chance he'd play week 1 originally when he got hurt. So I'd assume next week or week 3.
Okay. I could live with that.
That would be my guess. I can totally live with
without
that.
him,
Especially
we don't need
we
him
already
for the
have a win.
Panthers.
I'd love to have him there. It would make it a lot
But,
better.
like, you know what I'm saying. We could live without him for the Panthers.
I mean, we beat the Titans without him or Ojulari, so that's pretty fucking impressive, honestly. Let's see. I think the Giants will be a fun team to watch this year. Like we said before, even though it was an incredibly biased take, they will be in the playoff hunt this year. It is right. They will be in the playoff hunt this year. Take this. This is true.
Before we talk about the Giants for an hour, let's move on to the next game.
Exactly.
Because me and you could literally have the podcast about the Giants.
Yeah, first and Giants. Exactly.
Yeah. So, this game was a total blowout. It was no surprise to me or you. We both had Chiefs minus 3.5. Chiefs won 44-21 against the Cardinals.
It shifted all the way to 6.5.
Yeah, to 6.5 towards the end of Sunday. But Mahomes looked like he never lost a step. 5 touchdowns in the first half.
What else is there to say about Mahomes other than he's the best quarterback in the league?
Kyler Murray kind of stinks.
Yeah, I saw a clip on Twitter from the Last Chance U coach. It was like just Kyler completely missing a blitz pickup. He had like trips to one side and his tight end on the other, and it was clearly like the tight end was slid in to like help protect, and he just didn't call out the protection, and he gets sacked out in the empty with like 6 guys rushing. Like it's like just what are you doing on third down?
Let the ball go.
Like, that's why they put the film study in there, man. That's why they put the film
listen
study
to
in
this.
there. They're going to be a
found
mess.
this stat
I think the
earlier
Cardinals
on Twitter.
suck.
Kyler Murray is 0-47 when Call of Duty has double XP weekend.
Is that verified? Is that a
Yes.
Ballsack Sports tweet?
No, he's 0-47 during double XP weekend.
That's hysterical. But he hasn't played that many games in the NFL. Is that dating back to like college and high school?
It was posted by Point Bet Sportsbook. It's verified on Twitter.
But that has to be dating back to college also, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't have. There's no way he had that many losses in fucking college.
This is going back to high school, buddy.
That's hysterical.
Next week is double XP weekend, so.
Oh, so we're
fade
fading
the
the shit
Cards.
out of No, the Cardinals will probably win next weekend.
Who are they playing?
Books tweet. If the book, I have no idea actually. Who are they playing? The Cardinals are playing the Raiders. Ooh.
I'm fading. It's Raiders Nation, no doubt.
You have to. You have to. But, I mean, I think we kind of called this game from a mile away. We said the Chiefs are still going to be good with Mahomes, and the Cardinals might be messy. They might be not that good. And that's what it looked like Sunday.
Yeah, it was not. I didn't get anything from
Chiefs
this game
ran
other
away
than
with this
an
game.
affirmation that Mahomes doesn't need Tyreek Hill. That's about it.
Yeah, it just confirms that Mahomes is just different level when it comes to quarterbacks.
He's him.
And the Cardinals could be not that great.
But who knows? It's week 1 again. Don't just take it with a grain of salt.
Exactly.
They have an amazing offense. A lot of people are hurt. Once Moore and Hopkins come back, it could be a different story.
100%. The Cardinals also historically choke in the second half, so I'm not in on them really personally.
And I heard COD's gonna be good this year, man. They're fucked.
Yeah, they're beat. Say the next game. Vikings beat up on the Packers, beat them by 16, 23-7 at home. We both were on the Vikings here.
This is another one that was clear as day when we saw the line.
It was 2.5. It was plus 2.5 when we saw it, and then it shifted all the way to Vikings minus 1 on Sunday.
Either
Vikings
way,
won by
you
16.
got that. You love
I would have taken it either way.
No doubt. I would have took
both
minus
said the
3.5.
We both said the Vikings were going to win outright, I believe, if my memory serves me correct.
We took money line. We were like, don't even take the 1.5. It was when we were recording it or something.
The Packers receiver corps is not that great. It's not good.
Yeah, they're throwing to middle school receivers. It's and you know Rodgers is pissed. He's not one of those guys that's like trying to like help you out. He's like, why aren't you catching my perfectly spiraled ball that I put perfectly in your hands?
And he used to have Devontae Adams, and now it's like Al Lazard and a bunch of rookies and Sammy Watkins.
That must be tough. I mean, I wish I could feel bad for him, but I can't because he's a millionaire. But
it's the last guy I'll feel bad for.
on the other hand, the Vikings looked awesome. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, Jefferson is going to have an absolutely monster year, isn't he?
Hot take. he wins MVP as a receiver, as a position player.
I don't think a receiver's ever won MVP. That's a hot,
Why
hot,
not, though?
hot take.
I mean, this is a very hot take here. It's steaming.
Steaming hot?
Say there's no quarterback that has a crazy season, but J. Jeff goes for, like, he beats, like, everyone's record. He averages 200 a game, 2 touchdowns a game. You don't think he wins MVP?
He could. I just found a crazy stat, actually. Cooper Kupp last year was the first wide receiver to receive an MVP vote since Randy Moss in 1998.
So maybe the MVP voters are starting to shift in that direction, maybe trying to open it up a little bit?
He'd have to break Moss's touchdown record and the yardage record.
Well, I mean, he's probably on pace right now, right?
Well, he had 190 and 2 touchdowns week 1. He's definitely on pace.
That's awesome. I mean, why not? Jet is MVP.
Hey, I like that. That's a fun take. Yeah, I mean, and the Vikings offense it's just good. I think we'll leave it at that. Vikings are going to be a good team this year. I think they take that division in all honesty. Let's hit the next game. The Sunday Night Football game. This one was the snoozer of the weekend, in my opinion.
Yeah, no surprise here for me either.
19-3. Yeah, no surprises. We were both on the Bucs. We both said Bucs money line. Fuck the spread. They hit it, and I mean, Dak hurt. The Cowboys are over. The Cowboys are not going to do anything this year.
So are the Bucs, in my opinion, too. Both these teams are kind of over. I don't think that.
Who do you see overtaking them in the NFC South? The Saints. I think that's the only team that has a shot at it.
Yeah, it would probably have to be the Saints, but I think the Saints are going to be exponentially better throughout the course of the season than the Bucs. I think the Bucs
they'll get
are going to
better
have
than they were Sunday.
Yeah, they're going to have a very. I think the Bucs are going to be a very disappointing team for a lot of fans this year down in Tampa.
No Brady the whole offseason, losing Gronk, losing Arians. They're an interesting team to follow. Also, yeah, they lost a lot. Honestly, they're interesting to watch.
Marpet.
Yeah, that's a huge loss. And Brady's going to get pissed. If his offensive line shit, he's going to get not happy.
He hates getting hit, so I mean that's
how
the best way to beat Brady.
In 2 Super Bowls. Yeah,
exactly. You rush him. That's the equation of beating Brady. And honestly, Dallas did none of that on Sunday night. They looked horrible on both sides of the ball. There was nothing that I could take away from this game other than they're clipped because Dak is done.
Dallas defense held up well in the red zone, but that's the only positive I took away from watching Dallas in that game. Also, the Bucs offense, first game with Brady, really. They didn't even see him in the preseason at all. Not even camp or anything.
Another kind of weird
makes
game.
Sense. Yeah. Another weird game. And then the Monday Night Football game. One of the most fun games of the week, in my opinion. The Seahawks beat the Broncos 17-16 in Seattle. I was on the Seahawks here, +6.5, and you were on the Denver Broncos -6.5, like a square.
Let's just be real here, though. Last night, I did take the Seahawks +7.5. It was
because you got smart.
No, because I really don't remember taking the Broncos 6.5. I would never do that. I'm not a square.
Yeah. But you did say that. So
yeah, but come on. And then I text you. Are we sprinking Seahawks money line?
And we did.
And we did. Cashed out, boys. We're sharp.
Yeah,
we know the script.
Geno Smith I think Geno Smith started 13 for 13 in this game.
Yeah, it was a Mike White type transcendent game. He was walking on air.
Yeah, that was unbelievable, dude. He was just throwing rockets all over the field. That PI he drew early on where he rolled to his left and then threw across the field and drew a PI. I was like, what is going on right now? This is unbelievable.
He looked like he's been there all the time. And then the greatest quote of all time, he said he was like, they wrote me out, but I ain't right back.
Yeah, I was so
They wrote
sick.
me off, but I didn't write back or some shit.
Yeah. They said they wrote me off, but I ain't right back. That's sick.
Okay, Geno.
I hope he wins.
We didn't write you off. The First Initiative boys didn't write you off. Let's go.
Follow us on TikTok, and you'll see our last episode. We said Geno Smith hot take serviceable this year.
At
now
First
we're going
Ninja
super
Sports
hot
Podcast.
take MVP.
For real.
At First Ninja Sports Pod on TikTok. Yo, hit us. I'm trying to get on the hype house. That's the goal.
Yeah.
But that was
We're trying to make Obi hit a nay-nay and do the Trump impression at the same time.
I'm telling you, I love TikTok.
They're not going to steal our data.
They're not going to steal our data, I'm telling you. But let's talk about the Broncos here, right? The Broncos just looked so awful. Horrible clock management at the end. Russ didn't look that great.
Russ looked like last year's Russ.
A lot of
He wasn't good
checkdowns.
last year.
He had that one bomb to Judy, and that was really it, like in terms of explosive passing.
It's
plays,
also
I feel
Jerry
like.
Jeudy. He'll be open all the time. He's awesome.
Yeah. He did. And
he didn't
Jerry
do
Jeudy also had
anything.
a big drop. Judy had that big third down drop, and I think the third quarter. But all around,
But
Broncos
I think
looked rough,
Vegas
man.
had a very heavy hand in this game. It was very
Yeah,
obvious.
there was a lot of flags that were kind of like
It was almost double like flags on the
heavy. Also, early in
Broncos.
the year. Early in the year, there's always mad flags. Teams are sloppy, bro, especially coming out of camp. And like I said before, when you're not playing your starters in the preseason, it's tough. It's their
And
first game
Hackett.
back NFL action. Hackett had
He's a
some of the worst
retard.
clock management I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god.
That was the worst clock management I've ever seen in my life. You have the
I don't
4th and
even
5.
think-
Javante's down with like 55 seconds. You have all of your timeouts. And why don't you call a timeout? You have to go for it. It's a 64-yarder.
You could possibly get the ball back
Yeah.
if you don't get it.
Well, not very unlikely, but,
But, like,
technically, yes.
It's possible.
Yeah, no, it was just bad.
You're not
coaching.
hitting a 64-yard field goal with the 14th man. I'm sorry.
You got to
Whatever
trust
it
the guy you just paid $250 million, traded assets to be your quarterback to get 5 yards to win the game.
is. 100%.
And they did. They called out McManus
no.
to hit a 64-yarder on the road. And
Maybe
did
if you were at
manage the
home.
clock horrendously.
If
That
you were at
clock
home,
management
I'd
was so
think
bad.
Yeah,
That was
that's
some
going
of
to
the
come
worst
and
clock
bite him in
management
the
I've ever
ass.
seen in my life. Yeah,
He's
I mean,
also a
if-
rookie head coach. Cut him some slack.
That's beyond bad.
We were high on
I'm
him
not
before
cutting
the
him any
season.
slack. I know, but I was just high on the Broncos as a team, and he was a Packers coach. So
All right,
seemed
let's get to the fantasy football
Yeah.
segment
Let's
of this
segue.
pod.
Let's segue. Those were the games from last week.
We're gonna do a fantasy football surprise, a superstar, and a bust. Pick one of each.
Yeah. All from this week. One
I'll ask
player
you
who was
first,
kind of
OB.
shocking. Yeah.
Who was your surprise for this week?
My surprise for this week was Baltimore Ravens wide receiver Devin Duvernay.
Ooh, I like that pick.
He was the wide receiver 9 in half-point and full-point PPR this week. 4 for 4, 4 catches on 4 targets, I should say. 54 yards, 2 touchdowns. And it
Love
seems like
that.
he's pretty heavily slotted in as the number 2 receiver there, and obviously the number 3 option because Andrews is there in the passing game at least. And Bateman played, for reference, Bateman played 66% of the snaps, and Duvernay played 52. So it was pretty clear. All the other receivers were like the third receiver was like 40, Demarcus Robinson. So he's pretty clearly their number 2. And after last week, I'm sure those snaps go up a little bit. He's
Yeah.
an interesting guy to add, especially in weeks when like there's a really good corner shadowing Bateman. He's going to be open a lot. So
I
even
respect
though the
that
Ravens
pick.
don't throw that much, he's owned in 2% of ESPN leagues. I think it's an interesting bench piece for the rest of the year and kind of a sneaky waiver ad because I think people are going to not be on him as heavily as some other people this week.
I like that pick. I think if you have an open bench spot, why not take a flyer with Duvernay if he's on the waiver wire? I think he's going to be a good, solid target for the rest of the year.
I agree. Who's your surprise this week? Who surprised you?
Dontrell Hilliard. He
That
surprised
was
me
surprising.
a lot. He caught 3 of 4 targets for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns, while also rushing twice for 8 yards in the loss to the Giants. But I'm not saying that he's going to be the starter here. Obviously, Henry is Henry. He's King Henry. But
It's a good
it's kind of
handcuff.
interesting how they're going to use him this year. It doesn't
They
mean that
usually
he
get him out.
has to be their number 1 or their bell cow. He could just get touches and get touchdowns, just like Kareem Hunt does. You know, I think he's worth an ad. And
If
he's
Henry
only
were ever to
rostered-
get hurt too, he's going to be a flex play for sure.
which we have a little bit of a hunch for this year. I'm starting to think his body's starting to break down. He didn't rush
I
the
hope.
same.
I hope not. I hope
I've
not
never
either,
seen
but
him
he
got
didn't-
hit like that by Tay Crowder in my life. He sucks.
He didn't.
Tay
Yeah,
Crowder.
he didn't look exactly the same. Sunday. He's also getting older, and he did get hurt last year. I'm obviously not rooting on that. I love watching Derrick Henry play, but Father Time, especially with running backs, very rarely lies.
Dontrell
Very
Hilliard
rarely
is rostered
loses.
on 4% of leagues. He scored 21 points last week. why not throw the flyer if you have an extra spot, or have Derrick Henry itself? It's a great handcuff.
100%.
Just keep an eye on.
I like
Who
that.
knows? What about your bust for this week, OB?
A guy I was on heavily this offseason, I still have faith for down the line, but Kyle Pitts stunk this week in terms of counting stats. He only had 2 catches for 19 yards.
Yeah,
Gross.
what happened there?
Well, he had 7 targets. He had a 21% target share, right? Still good. It's actually pretty elite
That's
for a tight
valuable
end.
enough.
It's elite for a tight end.
Yeah.
And I believe he had 90 air yards, somewhere around there. So the volume isn't that concerning. So I'm not overreacting to this, but clearly he was a 3rd, 4th round pick this year. That's a bust. He put up 2. Every Seahawks tight end had more fantasy points than him this week.
That is disgusting.
Definitely a bust this week, Kyle Pitts.
That's a great stat.
And a guy I love this year. Even for the rest of the year, I still like him, but definitely disappointing in week 1.
For my bust this week, I'm gonna go CeeDee Lamb with 4.9 points. Drafted in
gross.
leagues mostly in week 2, in round 2,
Round 2.
which is very, very, very disappointing for a lot of people for your wide receiver 1 to put up 4.9 points. He hauled in 2 of his 11 targets.
ADP.
I wouldn't be too worried again, like your guy. He's gonna get his targets. He led the team
But
in
Dak's
receiving.
hurt now too, bro. That's
I know,
very concerning.
but he's still gonna
That's
lead
not
the
good.
team in receptions and targets. There's no doubt. He's gonna get
For sure.
his food.
They have no one else there. That's why.
Yeah, Cooper Rush being out is very, very, very detrimental for him throughout the season. I think you sell as fast as you can before it goes ugly on
Exactly.
CeeDee Lamb.
I would sell even though it is low. I would sell CeeDee Lamb also in fantasy.
I think this is the highest you're going to be able to sell, in my opinion.
I fully agree with you, my friend. I don't think he's going to be that great this year. Now, especially that Dak's gone. Hit me with your superstar. Who was your superstar this week? Who was tripping? We could have been superstars.
Amon-Ra St. Brown was my superstar this week.
He knew Jared Goff was fake, but he still caught 8 balls because he's a gremlin.
Yeah, so he caught 8 of his 12 targets, 33% target share. That's elite in terms of target share for a wide receiver. He's going to get fed a lot. Scored 1 touchdown. I don't see that changing often. They really don't have any other passing
Wide
target
receivers.
other than him.
Hawkinson, yeah. Him and Swift are going to get most of the targets in that offense.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be a great season for Amon-Ra.
I fully agree.
Obviously, he's rostered at every league. I think he's a sit and just
100%.
stay at this point. You just sit.
He's
and
an
forget.
automatic start every week. If you
No
have him
doubt.
and you're not starting him, you're dumb.
No doubt. What about you, my friend?
He's slowly becoming a lock for 10 targets a week, which is fantastic. For me, my superstar this week, New York Giants running back, my boy, the GOAT,
The quad.
Saquon fucking Barkley. This is like I said earlier, this is the best game I ever saw Saquon play personally.
Oh, he looked fresh.
He looked unbelievable. He had 18 carries for 164 yards and a tutty. Plus, he caught 6 catches on 7 targets, 30 yards, and the game-winning 2-point conversion.
Wow.
Pretty good. And now if we dive into a little deeper, it's even more unbelievable. Played 83% in the snaps, 62% in the rushing attempts. So, I mean, he's clearly the number 1 back there, obviously. I
Bell cow.
could have told you that. The crazy stats, though, he had a 40% target share on the Giants' offense. That's nuts for a running back. You don't see, obviously, it's not sustainable. But if he's even around 20 as a running back, he's a top 5 fantasy player. And 22% of his carries went for 10 yards or more. He could be. If the Giants are good, he's going to be in the conversation because he's going to carry them to wins with games like that. Yeah. And he averaged 6.8 yards per carry after contact.
That's different, too, because usually the Saquon I know kind of shies away from contact, shimmies
Last
around guys.
year's Saquon,
Now, boom, right into that. He was hitting people in the chin.
I was so happy to see it happening. So, I mean, I believe he was a top 3 fantasy scorer this week, the RB1 this week.
30
He is my
points.
superstar. 33 in a full-point PPR league he had for me.
Love it.
So, he was my superstar this week. He is
that's a no-brainer.
pretty fucking good at football.
If we didn't say that, we wouldn't be a valid podcast, especially from New York.
Exactly. And keeping on the fantasy track, our last little segment we're going to run through here before we say goodbye to all of you beautiful people who have stayed this long.
You handsome gents.
Couple waiver wire ads. Who do you like as a sneaky waiver wire ad this week? It's week 1. These are the waivers that can really impact your season because if a player becomes an impact player and they're available at this point in the season, chances are they're not available week 3 or 4. Who do you like this week?
My first one is Greg Dortch from the Cardinals. I think, like I earlier stated, their wide receiver room is pretty injured right now, and if you're looking for a quick fix with maybe a Godwin injury or something of that nature, that maybe Keenan Allen, because I think he's not playing on Thursday.
Yeah, he had a hammy injury.
Yeah, I think Dortch is a quick fix. He looked like he was easily the number 2 target in a pass-happy Cardinals offense.
Yeah.
Why not?
And Rondale might not be playing, so that's definitely an interesting ad for this week. I like that as a daily fantasy play for sure, especially if Rondale isn't playing.
And he caught 7 of his 9 targets, so I mean he's not dropping the ball much.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. He had 9 targets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
He led the league he led the team in all 3 categories for passing.
Wow.
Like
Targets,
receiving.
Targets, yards, and catches.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty damn good. That's a good one.
What about you,
I'm only going
sir?
to give you one this week. I'm going to say Jeff Wilson Jr., 49ers running back.
I mean, that a lot.
Niners running back history is spotty. They do like to run a rotation. We know this. And Trey Lance and Debo are going to get touches.
No doubt.
But if you need help at running back, this is the best option you have on waivers probably right now, especially if you're not in like a 10-team league.
Unless you want to bite the bullet for Rex Burkhead.
Yeah, unless you are relying on Rex Burkhead, which I wouldn't suggest doing at all.
No, I would never.
So I mean, yeah, I would not either. Mitchell's out 2+ months. They healthy scratched their 3rd-round pick running back Tyrion Davis-Price out of LSU. It's really going to be him and the other kid's name, Jordan Mason, it seems like. But I would lean Wilson because he has experience in that system and has had games in the past where he pops off.
But
so
he will
that's
get
my
hurt
waiver.
In like week 7.
More than likely, yes, he does every year. But for now, my waiver ad is Jeff Wilson Jr.
I'll throw one more in there.
Hit us with one last waiver before we sign off the air.
I know people are gonna kind of not like this pick as much, but I think he's gonna have a great season. I'm going with O.J. Howard. He's looking like the number 1 tight end in Houston. Again,
okay.
Davis Mills looks very serviceable. He's getting red zone targets that make me interested.
He could be one of those weird tight ends that just catches like 10 touchdowns this year. That happens every year.
Saying.
Yeah.
He's only rostered in 0.03% of leagues, so he
has somewhat of a pedigree. He was his 1st-round pick.
Yeah, I mean he's been pretty awful in he was pretty awful in Tampa, but
yeah, incredibly average, below average even. But that's an interesting one.
Pick him
he
up.
could be a red zone target for them.
He's
going to
have a lot of in a team that lacks big guys. He's a big guy in that offense that Davis Mills can rely on as a safety blanket in the red zone.
Tight end in his position, if you don't have one of the top guys, you kind of need to find a guy who ends up being tight end touchdown heavy, I should say.
Exactly.
That's the best way you're going to get points out of tight ends if you don't have Kelsey or like Waller, even Pitts, Kittle.
Take a flyer on
Andrews. Yeah, if you don't have one of those top 3 guys, like why not? Why not? Cole Kmet and Dawson Knox look like shit this week. You might need help at tight end. I think that's a good waiver.
Fuck it.
And before we sign off, I had this on the sheet. I forgot I wrote this. Because we're gonna put this out tonight, and our next episode won't be up by the time this game happens. But we got the Chiefs and the Chargers Thursday Night Football. One of the better Thursday Night Football games in recent memory, on paper at least. I can remember.
Excited for this game.
The Chiefs are a 3.5-point favorite at home. Who are you taking here?
I'm taking the Chiefs. I mean, this might be a square public pick, but I can't not take the Chiefs, especially after the Chargers almost blew it to the Raiders when Derek Carr played like that. Mahomes is going to come out firing. Come on.
I'm going to take the Chargers plus 3.5 points here.
Okay, I respect that.
Obviously, I like taking division game underdogs, especially when both teams are good.
Yeah.
So, I'll take the 3.5 points. The Chiefs lost to the Chargers at Arrowhead last year in Week 2, I believe, actually. So there is a little history there. I feel like they always play close. I'll take the underdog here. I'll take 3.5 points. I could
That's
see it shifting
respectful.
I could see it going to 4, or even I don't think it's 3.5 by the time
I
Thursday night
probably
comes around.
won't touch this game in real life because it kind of
Yeah, I
skeeves
don't-
me out.
Yeah, I don't think I will either. I'm gonna enjoy this one because it's gonna probably be fun. But yeah, that was it. That was the 6th episode. Episode 6. Wow,
Wow, we're getting
Pretty
deep
wild.
into this shit.
we're getting deep into it. We're getting there, boys. Please
Thanks for
like and
watching.
subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Follow
Like and
us on
subscribe. Leave a
Twitter.
comment. We'll leave all the
TikTok.
links down there. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Twitter, TikTok. Yeah, Tinder, Twitter. But all the links will be in the bio. Thank you guys for watching. We love you, and peace out.
Peace out. Deuces.